Hello everyone, and welcome to Inventor Tic-Tac-Toe tutorials on the iPad. In this video, I'm going to have you watch all the way through without doing any steps on your own. In this video, what I'm going to show you is how to fix some of the things that went wrong when you guys were drawing and how to make them look correct again. Let's start with the top. I'm sure this happened to a number of you. You'll notice that in my tab, all of the buttons are now what's called nested. So they still exist, but the problem is I can't see them. Typically that happens if you double click on a tab, it changes how it looks. So if I go all the way to the right of the tabs, there's this little button right here. If I click it once, it changes how the tabs look. If I click it again, it'll change how the tabs look one more time. So I can go through the list, taking my time to click and let it do it. And eventually, after a few clicks, you're going to be back to how it's supposed to look. Next up, some of you noticed that there was something on the left-hand side of your screen over here, and maybe you thought it was getting in the way, but it is a very important tool. So if you X'd out of this, you're going to see a little plus right here, and I can show the model browser to bring this side back up. The reason this is so important is it shows you a history of everything that you've done. So my first extrusion, if I hit the plus next to it, used this sketch, and I can see exactly the dimensions that I had, and then I can see what the extrusion looks like. Extrusion 2 was when I started to do my first groove, and that is the sketch that I used. So what I need to do is one of the first things that I noticed a lot of people had issues with was the first time you extruded, you didn't quite extrude it deep enough. So looking at our part here, trying to figure out how thick the part is from the front to the back, you either have to look at the top view or the side view to figure out where this is. And it turns out the dimension is over here. Let me delete and erase all this. So from the front of the part to the back of the part was supposed to be 1.50. So back over here, if I wanted to make this 1.5 inches deep, I'm going to take my pointer to the extrusion that I screwed up, and I'm going to take one finger and I'm going to click and hold on the screen, and a list is going to pop up. So this is called a right click, and there's all sorts of things I could do. I could just completely delete it. In this case, I'm going to edit the feature. So my problem was I left it at 1 inch, and I need to make this 1.5. As soon as I click OK, it's going to update that for me and fix what I screwed up. So let me do a quick save at the top. Next up, pretty clear, I screwed up this groove in a number of different ways. First up, I'm going to look at the sketch that I screwed up. So it's extrusion 2. If I click and hold with one finger and my list pops up, I'm going to come in and edit sketch. So you're going to see here, I drew a rectangle, but I didn't give it any size or any location. So one of the first things I notice people do is they put a dimension in from the side to the side, and they type in 1.06. Let me get my keyboard up, pinch it off to the side, and put in 1.06. And then I'm going to hit the green check mark. What you're going to notice is that dimension has now actually flipped to the opposite side. So this actually happened because I never actually dimensioned how wide this groove was supposed to be in the first place. So I'm going to expand my keyboard. I'm going to hit undo and undo. I need to tell it how wide this should be. There's two ways to do this. You can dimension this line right here and tell it how wide it should be. Or you can do a dimension from one side with a click to the, let me undo. From one side to the other side, click, click, and click. So I clearly didn't put in the 0.15 that I needed. So I'm going to open up my keyboard. Put in 0.15. You're going to notice it really pays to do these dimensions when you first put it in, because sometimes it scales the entire thing down for you. So if I drop my tool with the escape key, because I've only told it how wide it's supposed to be, I can actually click and drag this to be taller. And if I click front, you're going to notice my width is still there at 0.15. I could finish my sketch. You're going to notice that's fixed right away. I'm going to come back in though, edit the sketch, and now I can come in and put my dimension from the left side, click, to the left side, click, place my dimension off my part, and now I can put in the 1.06. Finish that. Green check mark. And now I fixed where that is located. But there's one final thing to fix here. You're going to see that my extrusion was cut too deep. So I'm going to come into extrusion 2, click and hold. Ooh, my keyboard's in the way. I'm going to come in to edit the feature, kind of like we did in the first time. I'm going to change distance A, and I'm going to make this 0.19. Click OK, and it has updated immediately for me. Quick save. So now we know how to go about getting our tabs back, how to get our model bar back, how to edit some sketches and edit some features that we've already done. Last but not least in this video is the navigation bar over here. If I grab the hand, it's going to allow me to click and hold and move my part side to side, up and down. Let me open up my keyboard so that I can get my escape key and drop the hand. Next up is the orbit tool. The orbit is going to allow you to click, hold, and spin your part around. And then I need the escape key to drop my tool, and I'll go back to the home view. And last but not least are the different types of zooms. And if I did zoom a window, I could click and drag a box around something that I want to zoom into. So I'm going to go back to the home view. So this was how to fix some things that went wrong. Hopefully you guys can apply this to things that you've done, and I'll see you in the next video.